There you are. I've been looking for you, Feyre darling.
We have a male audiobook narrator in the house, friends, and I'm so excited because he is amazing. And I have so many questions I have been dying to ask, and I have friends that also sent me questions. So we are asking these together. If you are a fan of romance, especially romantasy, you are going to scream, perhaps on the outside or the inside like me. You'll listen to the whole episode and still want more because today I'm joined by Anthony Palmini, known for bringing some of the most iconic romantasy characters to life, including Rhysand from ACOTAR and Kingfisher. I think there's like different ways people from Quicksilver and Brimstone
Yes.
by Kelly Hart. He's had everything from these dark, broody leads to more fun, high energy characters. And he has a special background in improv comedy sketch acting, video editing, directing, and music composing. So he brings this really unique, wonderful dynamic feel to his performances. And today we get to go behind the scenes with him to ask all the things of what brings these characters to life. So welcome, Anthony.
Oh, hello. What an intro. Thank you.
Well, like I said, I am excited and people are excited. I shared a bit already, but can you share a bit about your journey of how you came to where you are?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've had a crazy, just try it all type journey where I started. I think the core is definitely acting. I started to want to be on camera acting, and I did that for a little bit. And then, kind of frustrated with the roles that I wasn't getting for whatever the reason was, I said, you know what? I'm going to write and direct my own stuff and put myself out there. And so I started to write and direct a couple of things. And then I was like, well, I also have to edit this thing that I videoed and put together. So then I did editing. And that led me into actually being a professional editor. And I was an editor for Viacom, for MTV for a while, still trying to do the acting thing. So I did a lot of sketch comedy with friends, and that all kind of merged together into one day, and both in an MTV moment and in a on stage sketch comedy moment. Both had said like, "Oh, your voice, you have a really good voice. Like you should try to do voiceover work." And so I tried that out, and that led me to do a couple commercials. And by chance on Twitter, somebody had posted that they were doing like a roster opening for graphic audio. And then I did graphic audio for about a year, and then finally got a chance to do this little audition for a character named Rhysand for this little book called ACOTAR. And after that, it kind of changed my whole trajectory of what I thought my career was going to be. And happily, I'm now doing a lot of romantasy and a lot of audiobooks in my career.
I love that because in my community, we talk a lot about just trying new things and saying yes to those opportunities that just kind of come up, even though you haven't thought about that long term or even
Yeah.
considered that before. But these
Yeah.
options of just say yes to these little things that you're open to can turn
Hmm.
into something really fantastic, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
Can you tell us about that ACOTAR Resand role? Because my understanding is that you had not read it, you had not known how big this thing was.
Yes. And I always say I'm glad I didn't, because I think that there would be too much pressure for me in the audition. In the audition, I just thought, okay, I kind of get a vibe for this character. And so I did the audition and had no idea of what the rest of the story was, other than the little audition snippet that they gave me. And even when I was recording, I was kind of just focused on the book and not on how popular the book was. And it wasn't until after that I saw how huge that community was, how big that romantasy genre, like all of that just came at one shot. They was just like, go on TikTok, go online, you'll see how, Wikipedia, like there was so many things that I was like, whoa, this is way more than I expected for this as my first like introduction to it. And wow, what an introduction it was.
It's so funny because my coworker was the one that got me into ACOTAR, and until then,
Mm.
I was primarily like I read fiction when I was a kid, but then went to
Yeah.
nonfiction, memoirs, all the things that as adults maybe I should be reading kind of things.
Yeah.
But then we had a few people at my work. We all read ACOTAR together, and I just since then I've been on my romance fiction binge mixed in with everything else. But
Yeah.
yeah, and I don't know if you can see it up there, but my Court of Mist and Fury is up there. It's my favorite book.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah.
As far as the most popular books, obviously, I'm guessing ACOTAR is by far the one that is kind of the one that you get asked about the most or talked when someone comes up to you. Is the second one Quicksilver, or is there a different series or book that you get asked about the most?
Yeah, I think still number one is ACOTAR, and then definitely like right behind it is Quicksilver. And then third, I would say it would be the Plated Prisoner series, the character Slade. That's probably the third one. So
That one's on my
those are
TBR still. There's so many on my books to be read,
yeah,
listened, whichever. Audiobooks are the only way, seriously, that I, as a working mom, get any sort of reading done. So thank you,
yeah.
first of all, for making these come to life.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean that was the one thing that I never really thought about because you know when I first got into voiceover there were always like this not like this like warning but like oh if you go into audiobooks it's a marathon you're in the booth for hours and I don't know if you want to do that and then so I didn't really think about it the way that you're saying it as a consumer as like no but this is a way that you can read while you're doing stuff it really draws you into the story and so once I thought of it like that I was like wow this is pretty cool to kind of be that voice to guide you through the story for the 7, 8, maybe sometimes 12 hours that you're listening to a book. So it's fascinating to hear from the other side. I'm here recording and then I just kind of throw it out into the world and it's just like, all right, well, here it is. And then to hear like the opposite of that is like, oh, that is pretty cool to like, you
No,
know.
it's fantastic. And we'll get into some of those viral videos that I've seen too, because they're pretty funny. But I
Yeah.
do want to ask about typecasting, right? Because you
Mhm.
have gotten big in the romantasy area, and romance romantasy goes hand in hand, right? And there are people, especially for male narrators, there are like fandoms, right? That like follow you. Well, I should ask because I assume
Yeah.
from what I see. But is that the case? And do you want to venture out into other genres? Do you feel like you're kind of boxed in?
What's funny is like I at first when I did graphic audio and you're kind of just doing one character. But a lot of the books that I've been doing now, especially like Quicksilver and others, they've allowed me to not just voice the main character, but the side characters as well. And so I'm happy that people are like, oh, I didn't know that that was you doing the other characters as well. And I think that I'm happy for that opportunity to be like, yes, I will most likely be cast for, a similar personality trait of a character for another book. But there's so many other side characters that I just like love to champion as well and be like, yes, that's totally that. So, you know, being typecast, I don't really think too much about that because of the opportunity of like, you're going to listen to a book and you're going to hear me do like 20 different voices. So I'm grateful to have that playground of like, yes, okay, this is the main voice you're gonna hear, but here's the like really sinister, evil, main enemy of this story, or the dragon, or the little sprite. Like I get to voice all those things. So I love doing that.
I love that. I thank you for sharing that because I think a lot of times we don't even realize that it is either one or two people and all the voices, you know.
Yeah.
I'll have to say Carrion is one of my favorite characters. Like so like I laugh out loud and it's fantastic. So
Thank you.
you
Yeah, I love him too. Yeah, he's such a great character.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned some parts of the recording process. So I do want to ask about the recording process, and
Mm,
you mentioned it's hours in the booth. So
yeah.
can we start with that? What does your day look like? Because obviously your voice is gonna get tired at some point, and it's a
Yeah.
more isolated recording usually.
Recording. Yeah, it's crazy because up until now, you know, I think probably later on in this year I'll be a full-time voiceover for narrator. Right now I'm splitting my time between video editing and voiceover. So it's a lot of screen time that I'm trying not to do, but I have to because of work. So on the weekdays, my hours are a little bit shorter just because that's the only hours I have. So I'm focused more on just a couple of hours of getting in the booth, preparing, but on the longer days, usually it's like, you know, I mean, I always do vocal warm-ups before I start, but the prep already starts before that of like highlighting the book and thinking of the character intentions and voices. And then once I get in, you know, I'm actually in it right now, but start recording and yeah, and just record. Sometimes it could be up to 3 to 4 hours straight. Sometimes it could be a little more. Just depends on how my voice is. I know I now I have a good idea of like when I feel my voice is starting to strain a little. That's when I force myself to just be like, look, you got to stop because then if you push yourself tomorrow, you're not gonna go 3, even 2 hours. You'll probably just do 1 hour of recording, and especially depends on the character voices that I have to do as well. Sometimes it's a bit deeper or shouting. And so those days I also have to be careful of like how many hours I do.
So you talked about prepping. How much prep do you do? Do you read it once through and then kind of jot down these are the voices I need to do for these different characters, reminders perhaps of which voice?
You know, sometimes I'm lucky enough where the production will already highlight all the lines that I have, which is great because that saves so much time. And so I'll still read through it just to get an idea of the story and what's happening, but at least I don't have to focus on like, oh, you know, I don't have to do that. It's just it's already there. But definitely when I do that first read through, it's like, oh, okay, I kind of get an idea of what the personality of this character is or what the voice is, and then I'll make little notes on the side, and then once it's all highlighted and ready to go, then I'll just start recording.
I can't imagine doing all day because my kids ask me to read. I don't know why they don't like the audiobook of, certain books or whatnot. Apparently my voice is what they want to hear. And I read a few chapters and I'm just like, guys, I gotta take a break. I can't read anymore. You guys read some. I
Oh,
love reading with them. Yeah.
that's great that they want to hear your voice. Yeah.
I'm like, these people are paid to do this, but apparently they want to hear mom's voice for something. So,
Oh,
I'll take it while I can. They're becoming
yeah.
teenagers soon. So, they won't want to hear from me. But
That's great.
yeah. So, what is your ratio for, call it a 10-hour book? How much
Okay.
time goes into your work to create that?
You mean for like prepping and recording or just
Prepping,
recording?
recording, there's cuts, right? So, how many times do you have to do it over again? Things like that.
I mean, I would say hopefully you want to stay within that realm of like if it's a 10-hour book, you kind of want to spend that amount of time on it. Of course, there will be sentences or characters that you're still trying to fine tune, but I don't think it adds too much time for me. I think it's roughly around that time. I guess it's more just depends on like you said, like life stuff. Maybe there's an emergency, or maybe there's something that I have to do, or health stuff. You know, that might prolong that. But usually, even with prep, I think prep. I'm trying to think like the longest time it took to go through highlighting. Maybe 2 days to prep that, and then start the next day, and then yeah, usually it's roughly about that many hours. But then again, it just depends on how many hours you're able to devote a day. You know, sometimes I'm able to knock out 5 in a day, 6 in a day, and then there's other times where it's just one.
Mhm.
And so that could make it a little longer than usual. But for the most
Get
part, it
yourself
should
back
should
into
be
it.
around that. Yeah, yeah,
Got it. Yeah. I think I've talked to different narrators, and, the prep period is different, or the
yeah,
way that they do things is different. So it's just interesting to know, it's not just you go in and record, there's all this other
yeah.
work that is done. And then
And
if you're catching up because you only did an hour, you're like, where did I leave off? Or, things like that.
I think also as actors, everybody has their prep, like to make it their own. Like, you know, some people will read the book twice. Some people will only work on one chapter because they're emotionally drained from tapping into whatever it is. And then there's other actors that are just like, yeah, I can tap into it and tap right out. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't need to do any of that. And you listen to their performance, you're like, wow, how did you do that with like little prep time? So everybody has their own kind of way of doing things.
How do you pick your projects? Because I'm sure now you're getting tons that are coming at your desk of would you do these things?
Mhm.
How do you decide? Do you read the blurb? Do you have certain authors I assume that you work with on a regular basis? Things like that.
Yeah, now it's coming to that point where it's kind of like, okay, I know the author's work, and if they're asking me to work with them again, I'm like, yeah, I kind of know the style, I know what's needed, and sure, let's go and let's try another one. For the newer ones, it just really depends, yeah, on the blurb, or if I get a synopsis of like what is entailed, what's the character's journey. And then right now it's really just balancing the length that's required, because sometimes I can get a really short book and it's like, that's great, I can squeeze this in here. And then other times it's like, well, this is a 15-hour book and we need it done by this date. And it's like, I can't squeeze it in. I'm going to have to pass on. And then there's been like one or two that I'm like, oh, I so want to do that. But, I've already, gave my word for these other things. So that it's really comes to the story, time frame, and length of the book.
I have to ask because a lot of us listen to some of the spicier books and
Mhm.
we're blushing on this end or we're like giggling or, whatever. Do you read some of these lines and I don't know if you blush or if you think some of these are really cheesy or you laugh out loud for the funny lines? Does that happen and you have to keep recording it all?
I think in general, I laugh because I'm by myself here in the booth, and sometimes I forget that we're getting to that point, and so I'm reading, and I'm like, oh, okay, oh, all right, and then I just have to switch my brain to like, okay, now we have to go into the spicy zone. So for me, it's always just laugh because a lot of the times I'm just caught off guard by it. I'm like, oh, right. This is where we are in the story now.
Get in the zone, get in the
Get
zone.
in the zone. Yeah, get in the zone.
I don't know if you've seen some of these like hilarious reels or TikToks of mostly women, right, with their audiobooks in and then it connects to a different speaker or their
Yeah.
husband's phone or something. And it's a very real fear,
Oh,
fear,
is it?
worry, anxiety, especially if you have children like that you're picking up or like whatever.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought that was like, oh, so that's like a real, like, sometimes you
Oh, that
worry.
is a real thing. So I talked to Julia Freeman a
Oh,
little while ago, and she has an audiobook about audiobooks, right?
yeah,
And or a book and audiobook about, and like the very first scene is about a woman where in the airplane it starts
yeah.
playing. She was like, "You don't know how I could build a coffee book library from the stories that people have reached out to me about." It.
My God. That makes sense. Yeah, I thought that I was like, oh, that's a funny little joke. I didn't know that that was kind of based on a real fear of like, oh my God, what if this all of a sudden goes to like the car speakers or a random, thing where people can hear what I'm listening to.
Yeah, yeah. Not that
Oh,
we're
that,
ashamed of the books that we're listening to,
no.
but it there's definitely okay, am I on the right headsets,
Right.
especially with the Bluetooth, like the AirPods or something. I'm like, am
Yeah.
I connected?
That's funny. Oh, wow. That's good. That's good to know.
They want to come to you with these stories, huh?
No, no, no. I've just seen the videos online and I just thought that was a great like sketch or just like a great joke. Like, oh, that's hilarious. Yeah.
Have you gotten any sort of crazy comments, crazy fans, whether in a good or bad way?
Um, not really. It's funny because a friend of mine was telling me this the other day where I'm constantly being reminded to go online. I'm not an online person myself. Um, I guess that's just I don't know. I consume it, obviously. Yeah, I try to post, but I don't have that thing to like check myself yet or check other people. So a lot of the times it's honestly sometimes it's by random. Like I'll check online, I'll scroll up, and there's like I'm like, oh, that's my voice. Wait, what's going on? Oh, this somebody's talking about me. And then if they put a mention, they'll tell me like, hey, somebody mentioned you. Oh, let me check. Oh, wow, that's pretty interesting. But the fans have been very nice. Most of the interactions have been very, funny, or just like very nice words of like, oh, you're my favorite narrator, or I like the way you act in these books. I haven't had any crazy type of knock on wood. I haven't had any of that. And then the funniest one, but it was actually a mean comment, but not really. I guess you could take it as mean, but I always took it as like, well, actually, let me try and work on that. There was a there was a comment on the first ACOTAR where someone had mentioned that that the audiobook was ruined for them because I said the word library instead of library. And so they were like, "Oh, he said library. I that ruined it for me. I can't listen to this. I'm just gonna go back to reading." And so I was like, "Whoa, wow, that's harsh. Sorry." But I listened back to it. I'm like, yeah, there is kind of a hint of that. So I just worked on my enunciation for that, and I hope that now that has not popped up, because there's a lot of books with that word in it.
Mhm.
But that has been one of the few that I saw that it was just like, even people were like standing up for me like, how can you say that, like blah 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 blah. It's like, no, it's fine, it's fine.
Wait, you said library,
L-
like without the R
Yeah,
sounding?
so
Okay.
apparently I said library, like if it's a lying berry, instead of library. And
Got it.
so um yeah, so I was working on that, and that's the one word that now when it comes up in text, I'm like, I better say this word, like you better get this word right.
Oh,
Um
that's like that's like foliage for me. This is my totally random.
yes.
I was on Wheel of Fortune when I was in college, and the final that anyway. Now I hear it all the time. Growing up in California, you just don't hear foliage, so it never
Yeah.
crossed my mind. And now when people say it, I'm like, ugh, I could have won so much money.
Oh no.
Anyway, lessons learned, you learn a
Yeah.
little bit more. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
We
Exactly.
count the blessings for the things that I did experience.
That's so cool though. Yeah.
Yeah, fun, random things. I also want to talk about duets because it is mostly an
Yes.
isolated activity for you, right? To record these. My understanding is a lot of duets you record separately, they get put together in sound, right? Do you ever
Yes.
record together with people?
No, not yet. I think there's one coming up where it is like an ensemble, and they're having us all in one room. So I haven't experienced that yet. For the most part, it's been separate. Is everything has been, they record their part, I record my part, and then the magic of the beautiful editors, they put it together, and it sounds like we were in the same room.
And you never meet beforehand or like, e-meet or anything like that. You just do your own parts and
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, we'll probably connect if there is like a pronunciation guide that we're just trying to, make sure that we're on the right track. Especially, I think it's more in dual narration than duet, because you are now picking up the voices that they made on their chapters, and you're making sure that you try your best to carry that over to your chapters. So I feel like for dual there might be a little bit more communication than there would be in duet. But we try to at least say hi, and if there's any questions. But sometimes, we're just like, I'm sure they're busy, I'm busy, and we're just like, cool, cool, cool. Okay, let's let's record, and let's just go through. But for the most part, we try to keep some type of communication.
yeah, that's right. And thank you for the clarification between duet and dual because in my head it always kind of goes like back and forth. But dual
Yeah,
is where the female voice, male voice are each carrying through, right?
yeah.
Whereas duet, you have like your specific chapters, and you're doing both sometimes, right? The male and the female voice.
No, so
Way
dual,
back.
it's dual. So dual is, she does a chapter, she does all the voices, male and female, and then I
Yeah.
do the chapter and I do all the voices, male and female. Whereas duet is, I only do the male voices and she only does the female voices.
Okay. I had it backwards. See, I don't.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah,
Your comment makes a lot more sense now.
yeah.
Perfect. I'm a huge
Mm.
Kate Stewart fan, and you are playing Preston, right, in the new Birds of a Feather coming up.
Yes.
And there's another. They're doing the audio for the reel too, right? And
Yes.
so you have two Kate Stewart books coming up.
Yes.
Obviously, we can't talk about it yet. Once it comes out, maybe we'll be
Not
like,
yet.
"Hey, Anthony, you want to come back on?"
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the first time, right, for Kate, and
Yes.
yeah,
First time I'm doing one of her books, and it's been so fun. The reel, I had such a good time with that. That was such a good story, and so much fun. So much fun with that story.
how are your interactions with authors? Do you have very much interaction with all these authors that you do books for? I mean, there's a ton that you do, right? So
Yeah. Sometimes because it's done through a audio production, sometimes they're the ones that talk. They talk to the author, then they get the information back, then they talk to us. And then other times I've been able to talk directly, to the authors themselves, and it's been such a blast to be able to just, be like, oh my God, I love this character, and they're like, you did such a good job, going back and forth. So yeah, it just depends. Sometimes yes, and sometimes it's probably like after it's done, that we actually get to communicate. But we kind of do communicate, but through through a mediator of like, okay, this is what they want. Okay, got it.
yeah, or like pronunciations, do it this way, do it that
Yeah.
way, specific
Yeah,
things.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But you did all. I think you went to like a Brimstone launch thing, right? Is that
Yeah,
right?
that was great. I mean, I spoke to I emailed Callie Hart a couple of times, and we were, just like so friendly with each other back and forth. Like, oh, you did such a great job. This book is great. And then I finally got to meet her in person when I went to the LA event, and it was just so cool because we're like, oh, now we get to like interact in person, and she's so nice, and I had such a good time. And I can't wait to see what else, what she does next.
Yeah.
But that was
Waiting for
such
the
a cool event.
content.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
All these books that leave us on cliffhangers and then make us wait
I
for,
know. Wait for the next one.
What is your normal reading genre? Do you read romance or fantasy
Um,
or before this?
no, so it's so funny because when I was growing up, I was an avid reader of like sci-fi, anything really. Like my parents were like, "You loved to read." I remember doing like this like summer reading uh, thing where you had to read a certain amount of books, and but then like slowly, I don't know what happened. I just kind of got away from it, and then I guess like graphic novels took over my life, and comic books, and that kind of was still around there. And then once I was an adult, it was kind of hard just because everything was a visual medium for me. Like I was, writing, directing, and all this stuff. So I had little time to like pick up a book. And so honestly, doing audiobooks has now made me a reader through performance. But I've always loved sci-fi and fantasy. I've always loved those genres. And so, kind of now reading these books where they're almost intertwined. It's just like, yeah, I would have read some aspect of this genre at some point in my life. So it's kind of cool that now I get to kind of dive back in and read through performing.
You said earlier you do like half video editing right now and half audiobook narration, but you're going to
Yes,
be pretty much full
full time.
by the end of the year, you said?
Probably by the end of the year. Yeah. Yeah.
Does that excite you, or are you kind of sad that you're not going to be able to do as much video editing? Although you'll probably do some things for fun still, right?
Yeah.
In
I
there.
think, I it's such an interesting because I was just thinking about that this morning where I'm like, wow, I'm actually going like full-time acting. Like this is what I started out when I left high school. I wanted to do that. And then I was like, oh, but I really love editing. And it's just so funny because I'm editing a short film now. And it was something that um I was like, wow, I am gonna miss video editing, but there's so much more that I'm getting from acting again that I'm not gonna miss it that much because there's just something more that I get from this, that video editing. There's like a certain point where I'm like, I love it, I love it, love it. Work, 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 work. And here it's just like, sometimes I have to remind myself to get out of the booth where I'm like, well, I've been here way too long. I need to give myself a break. So I feel like I will miss it, but not as much.
That's great. What does full time look like? How many books are you planning to do this year?
I mean, I would hope. I mean, right now, I would say, again, it depends on the length of the books. I would say my busiest month right now, I'm doing close to 10 books a month. Um, and that's good. I like that. I would love to have that continue. But I would say roughly like seven-ish, 7, 8. Again, it just depends on the length of books and what's scheduled for that month.
I mean, giving ourselves buffer and room in our lives is really important, right?
Yeah, yeah, and that's been kind of rough, because as my audiobook business has been picking up, and having to balance that with video editing has been pretty challenging. And I got sick earlier this year, and so that was super challenging. Where I was still able to edit, but my voice was gone because I had a really bad cold that wouldn't go away for a month. And so the month of January, it was just like I'm already behind on work, and I still have to do this editing work, and now I have to catch up to the audiobooks that are coming in February. So at that point, I was like, yeah, I need to start making some serious changes to give myself some chance to go outside and touch grass and get some sunlight and not just be stuck indoors doing, edit, 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 record, record, record.
I mean, that's a great point. Your voice is your livelihood, right?
Yeah.
So what do you do? Do you go out less where there's crowds? Do you kind of put yourself in a
No.
bubble in different places? Or do you just kind of live life and take a few precautions?
Yeah, take a few precautions. I think definitely I have to exercise my voice more now. I went to go see a specialist and they were like, your voice. So the good thing was, because at one point last year, my voice was really like weak very quickly. And so I got nervous. I was like, oh my God, what does this mean for my career? And so I saw a specialist and they were like, the good thing is you're not hurting your voice. Your vocal cords are perfect. The problem is that your muscles in your neck are strained. And so you just have to work that out in order to not have it be so tight. And so they incorporated a bunch of vocal exercises that I do now, and it's been great. As far as like avoiding crowds or anything like that, I haven't done that yet, because I'm usually like a homebody anyway, and I'm not really that type of person. I mean, obviously I go out and do stuff, but for the most part, unless I think probably the only thing is airplanes. I wear like a mask just because I know that we're kind of stuck in this thing where the air should be clean air, but I know sometimes you never know. So that would be the only thing that I'm like, all right, let me cover this up just in case.
Yeah. Okay, another thing that I'm thinking about. So there are spicier scenes in a lot of these books.
Mm.
When whoever it is, family, your grandma, whoever asks, like, hey, Anthony, what have you been doing? Can I listen to your work? Is there any sort of like, oh, you might not want to listen to this one, or things like that have come up?
The good thing with my parents is, I mean, out of everybody, my parents would be the ones that ask that, but not really so much now, just because I've had so many different things to tell them about that they just honestly say like, I just don't know what that is. And so they're kind of like, we're proud that you're able to do that. And I'm kind of glad that they don't say like, can we listen to what you do? Like it just stops at like, okay, so this is getting popular and you're doing this. That's great. That's great to hear. My sisters, uh, some are like, wait, what is this that you're doing? What's going on?
They've read them.
Yeah. So they kind of, my sister definitely like she'll go around it, and my nephews and like everybody kind of has an idea of what it is, and some of them laugh and they're just like, I cannot believe like that's what you do. Like I would have never thought that would be your path. And then others are just like, yeah, that's cool. I'm not going to listen to it because I don't want to think of you that way. Um, and then one of my closest friends who I've known for years, and she's a big like audiobook and book reader, and she's just like, there are some times where I hear you and I have to stop it, and I have to just refresh my brain to say, okay, this isn't him, this is the character. Um, so that's been the funniest one, where it's just she's like, yeah, sometimes I gotta like pause it because I hear you and I don't hear the character.
That's so
Uh,
funny.
but they've all been pretty cool about it.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Many people love you, so thank you again for doing that.
Oh, thank you.
Has there been a favorite project that you have worked on?
um, it's funny. I get that question, or I think about that a lot, and I feel like every single project that I do, there's always something. I know that's cliche, and that seems like the safe answer to say, but honestly, like, there's always something in every project where I'm just like, oh, that was cool. Oh, wow, that character was great to bring to life. Oh, wow, that twist. Oh man, how am I gonna play this twist? Um, and I guess that kind of goes back to when I was doing sketches, where it's just like everybody's like, "Oh, pick your favorite sketch," and it's just like, well, you honestly, whatever makes people laugh is my favorite sketch. Like that was the whole purpose. Like, we wrote this to make people laugh, and
Mhm.
so if it made them laugh, then our job is done. And I think that's what I think of every book is like, whenever there's that twist or that romance scene or that funny line, like my job is like, oh, this is good. And I'm gonna try my best to like, there's a twist. I'm gonna make sure when that character does the twist, you're gonna be like, oh, I hate that. I hate that damn character. Or if there's a romance, it's like, it doesn't, I'm not taking you out of it by doing too much and just like really bringing that to life. Or if there's a funny character, it's like, oh, that line's gonna hit. I hope that line hits where they laugh when they're listening to it. So every book has that moment. And so that's been my favorite moment.
I know I asked you a question that's like, pick your favorite child. You can't.
Yeah.
There are different things that you appreciate about each one.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a similar thing to earlier, but what is a popular line? Like, if people come up to you, do they ask you to say a line? Do they ask you like any sort of things like that?
It's funny, and somebody had asked me this the other day. I when I I guess when I go out in the world, nobody recognizes my voice. So everything has always been just online. And so they already have like a request in mind where they're just like, can you so I would say the most requested online is probably the there you are. There you are. I've been looking for you from Rhysand and ACOTAR. That has been so far the most, where they're just like, oh, I love when you say that. The second is the spicier one from Quicksilver, where he's just like, get on your knees and pray to seven gods line. That has been definitely requested the most for that character. So yeah, it would probably be those two. Those two have been the most.
Like when people come up to you, like I don't know, or is it online? Like it.
Only online. I have yet
Oh,
to
okay.
be. I have gone to places. I have been out in the wild. It's funny. The only close interaction I saw was somebody. Somebody was listening to. I saw them doing like what do they call that? Like, they were reading the book but also listening to the audiobook.
Mhm.
And so I saw that it was ACOTAR and it was my chapter, and I'm standing right next to the person, and they're just like, they're there reading and listening. And I'm just like, wow, this would be trippy. Like, I don't want to tap them and say that's me because that would just be awkward.
You should say
Um,
there you are. That would be so
that right? I should have said that, but they were listening, and I didn't want to like. I was just, it would be funny if all of a sudden they stopped and they hear my voice because here I am.
yeah.
But that's been the closest of like out in the wild, like somebody,
Oh, that's so funny.
yeah,
That would have been amazing. But you're right. A lot of people do not know people's faces, right? And
yeah,
uh, you hear their voice in different capacities. But oh, can you say? I'm not going to make you say the
yeah,
spicy line. Can you say
yes.
the Rhysand line for us?
Sure. There you are. I've been looking for you, Fairy darling.
Gives me chills. Gives me chills, Anthony. Gives me chills. You're welcome, people. For the people that are. All right. Are we ready for some quick fire questions?
I'm ready.
Okay. What is the best piece of advice you were given in your career? Whichever career you want to take.
Um, Always find a way to turn a no into something that propels you to a yes.
I love that. Do you still, I think we touched on this, but do you still like to read outside of your current job of narrating? And if so, what are you reading right now?
So I mean, the only the only thing that I'm reading again is a graphic novel. What was the last one that I read? It was an older one. I mean, honestly, the older one that I read, which is just because my friend was like, "Oh, we haven't read it in a while." The Death of Superman, which is something that came out in my childhood, and I was just like, "Oh, let me pick it up and read it again."
Yeah, I love this because any sort of reading that makes us happy is great, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I tell my kids, oh, maybe you should, read like a little more heftier chapter books. But, at the end of the day, I'm glad that they're just reading and that they enjoy it. And yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Do stuff that brings you joy, right? And you have to read a ton of different arcs or, things that you're going to have to read.
Right.
Oh my
It's so
God.
funny. I think just you bringing that up, I remember last year when I was reading so much and somebody was like, you need to kind of read something different. And the one thing that I read that was like total opposite of that, it was just the recounting of the 98 Yankees. It was just like a very sports,
Uh-huh.
random, just straight actual thing that's going on. No dragons, no romance. It was like very opposite. I was like, you know what? Yeah, this is a good palate cleanser. Just like something totally different from that.
Yes. I think like I said before, I used to read a lot more nonfiction and now I have to like intersperse it in like, okay, before I read my next dragons or, whatever, I gotta read something else. And my husband's huge on like memoirs, history, like all that stuff. So I'm
Oh,
like, okay,
nice.
give me a good one. Give me a good one for me. And yeah, we still need to go watch Project Hail Mary. That's not, that's still fiction, but
Yeah,
we both love
good
that one.
movie.
So we gotta go watch it. But
Good
anyway,
movie. Yeah,
I digress. Yeah. Did you watch it?
yeah, it's good.
I always worry about book adaptations, but yeah.
Well, I haven't read the book, so it'd be interesting to hear from a person who's read the book if it lives up to how
The
the book was.
audiobook.
And now I'm interested to listen to the audiobook.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Has like the kind of graphic ish. I don't think it said graphic audio, but it has like the sound effects and things. And yeah, Ray Porter was
Cool.
great. Okay. What is one thing on your bucket list that you would like to do? Perhaps this year.
This year. Oh, okay. This year.
It
I
doesn't have
thought
to
you were
be
gonna
this
say
year, but
like well, if it's this year, the bucket list would definitely to be able to balance of the growing career that I have in audiobooks, but be able to have a good balance of personal life and that. So that would be awesome. There's also a plan to take a trip to Japan in October, November for a month. Every time I went to Japan, it's only been for a week.
uh-huh.
And so I'm hoping that this time I can be there for more than just honestly 5 days, because I don't even count seven, because two of those days you're on a plane.
Yeah.
So yeah, so balance life and work for this year.
Anthony, you're speaking my language. So I'm Japanese by ethnicity.
I know,
And
I
just went to
saw.
Japan, took my kids, and speaking my language. We're gonna have to talk about Japan. But
Yeah.
what is one thing you love doing just for you?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, just for me. I think there's like two. There's like two. I used to play video games a lot, and that's kind of gone away. And so there are times where just to relax, I'll turn it on and just play it. There's nothing behind it, just a good get it kind of done. But I've noticed now, because I haven't had too much time recording music just for me.
Mm,
Before I used to do that, and then somehow by chance that became part of my job. And although I love it and I still would love the opportunity, it did have this kind of feeling of like, oh, this is now a chore. Not a chore, but you know what I mean? Like something that you have to do because it needs to be done. Where now I find when I'm doing it, I'm like, oh, this is just like because I'm having fun doing it. And there's no like pressure of this needs to be released or this needs to be edited or chopped down. It's just like, nah, you're just doing it because you like to do it. And I've been finding doing that has been really fun.
Oh, okay. Now I'm going to go on tangents on these too because I feel like a lot of these projects, even like my YouTube channel for books, was kind of my side. I have a full time job, but this is
Hmm.
fun, and then I get to talk to people that I love, like reading, listening to, and I love it. I love it. So all these things that were like, hey, let's just go do these fun things. But I totally resonate. Like I used to play piano growing up, and it became a chore, right? You have to do it or whatever it is. And now I've kind of come back to it. And as my kids kind of did a few things, I kind of picked back into it a little bit. And in my free time, I think I'll do that a little bit more too.
Yeah, try it out. Play the piano just to have fun with it, just
Just
to
for
mess
fun.
around with
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Just for me. Yeah. I all the time. I talk to other moms about, do you have time for you? Like, go do the things that you love doing.
exactly.
Yes. Well, anything else that you want to leave our listeners with? Anything that you want people to know about you, your work, the industry?
Um, Other than just thank you. I mean, I honestly, there are times again, I'm trying to be more online and more like just connecting with people online, especially there's so many people saying like, oh, I love your work and you need to post more. And I'm trying really hard, but I do want people to know that I do see the feedback and the positive messages that people leave and the posts that they do. And it's just like, I still can't believe it. And I'm still just trying my best to continue that and not just be like, well, people like me, so now I can take a do this half-ass. Like, no, I really try like every book. Just like when you brought up that question of like what's your favorite, again, like every book I try to take into account. Like, I want to make sure that I can bring this to life, and I want to make sure that I'm not messing it up. I just always give 100% to the to performance, and I'm so glad that people resonate with that. So thank you. That's what I'd like to say is thank you to everybody.
And I love your attitude too, because even when you were talking about the library incident, you took it as feedback and you listened and went, okay, there are things that I can learn from this and keep getting better. So I love that attitude. The growth
Thank you.
mentality, right? That I tell my kids all the time too.
Yeah, yeah. Again, going back to one of your questions of like the great advice that I've received, and I received that very young when I had that period when I was just starting out as an actor where I was just being frustrated, where it was just like I felt like I was getting all these no's. And my mentor at the time was just like, well, what is that? You can either sit with it, you can get affected by it, or you can use that to fuel yourself to then find that yes wherever that yes is. He's like, the yes exists. It's just there's a lot of no's out there. So you don't want to focus on changing the no to a yes. You can only focus on finding where your best performance can find the yes that you're looking for. And so that's why I went into writing, directing, doing all that stuff because I was just like, well, I can wait for it or I can do it myself and figure out a way how to make this work. Just like you were saying, like your YouTube channel is like everybody's just being proactive to get to that point to where you find what you're looking for or what they're looking for and you just match that. So it's always been positive of just moving forward.
And I know you're not online a ton, which is great, actually. I feel like I always struggle with, I gotta like post that thing because it's what you're supposed to do, or,
Right.
things like that. But it takes away from your real life, right? So everybody has real lives, people.
Yeah.
Where can people connect with you, though, if they wanted to connect with you more?
Definitely my two main are on Instagram and TikTok at Palmini. That's where you'll find most of my posts. You can go to my website, antpalmini.com, so you can see some of the stuff that I've done and the other, editing, music, and stuff like that. Yeah, that's pretty much where you'll find me for now.
Excellent. Well, it has been such an honor. I'm so excited for all the things to come out, and hopefully we'll talk more in the future. But thank you so much, Anthony. It has been wonderful talking to you.
Wonderful talking to you. Thanks for having me on.